Coming soon in Dubai. We promise, we deliver. BT Properties. Stay tuned. Call now 800-50-50555.
When you're looking for printer cartridges,
look up Print 3000. Experience top-notch printing solution at our location. Visit us at 5285 Tompkin Road, Mississauga, Ontario. For all your printer cartridges needs, contact Shafkat Opal at 905-267-3000 for expert assistance. Quality cartridges, reliable service. Your printing satisfaction is our priority.
Your printer requires this toner.
for good customer service, fast delivery, and unbeatable prices, you have to come to Print 3000. Hello and welcome everyone. Today we bring the very first episode of The Candidate, where we will talk about the federal election in Canada on April 28, 2025. And I have a very talented, very strong political career in Canada, Mr. Parm Gill, with me in the studio. Hello, sir. How are you?
Thank you very much. It's great to be with you.
Sir, elections are just a few weeks away, and I do want to ask you questions about the election, the agenda of Conservative Party, what are the key issues. But before that, let's talk about you. You have served as Parliamentary Secretary in House of Commons, and then you were part of Cabinet in Ontario Parliament. You served as Minister as well. You have a very strong career.
Thank you.
So the very first question I want to ask you, why Mr. Parm decided to choose the career in public service?
You know, I'll be honest with you. I immigrated to this country at a very young age. I was 12 years old. And I think this country has given so much, not just to me and my family, but I think all Canadians, all new immigrants that come to this country with a dream. And, you know, with God's grace, we were able to achieve so much personally, business-wise. And it wasn't really me, to be honest with you, that wanted to get involved in politics when I did. It was mostly my family, my friends, and I guess they saw something in me. And believe it or not, I had turned down their encouragement on more than one occasion. And, you know, finally, you know, the pressure was on, hey, you have the ability, you can do this, we want you to step up. And so finally I said, yes, okay, I will do it. So the first time I ran was back in 2006.
Right.
I was still a rookie. I ran in one of the Toronto ridings. Of course, you know, we were not successful in that initial election, but I really learned a lot. And then coming out of that election, of course, after the election was over, and, you know, of course I lost. And that's when it really hit me that, hey, that's not me. I got to do this, right? And then I basically moved into the driver's seat, and rest is kind of history. And I was honored. I was elected. I was part of the Harper government from 2011 to 2015. As you mentioned, I had you know, the pleasure of representing the community, or the riding called Brampton Springdale. And it was really an honor for me to be part of a government, and number of roles that I had an opportunity to serve. I was first appointed as a Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Veterans Affairs, and was later Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of International Trade. I also served on a number of standing committees, including public safety and national security, health, Canadian heritage, and it really allowed me to gain, you know, a great deal of understanding of not just our country, but also when I was a PS to international trade.
Right.
We signed, you know, a number of trade deals with foreign countries, and I, you know, through that process, it gave me an understanding of how, you know, the globally the economy is so interconnected, and we're all really a one big family if you look at it at this point in time.
Right. You have vast experience and working with conservative parties specifically. The dynamics of politics and the situation of the country has changed majorly in last decade. What are the issues you, Mr. Peer, are taking into this election? What do you think is the key issues for the country, for Canadians? And let's be, because you're in Toronto, I'm specifically going to talk about Toronto as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, the reality is a lot has changed over the last 10 years since the Liberals came in power in 2015. First and foremost, I'd like to say, I mean, the opportunities that existed for mainly new immigrants, young people, are becoming more and more out of reach. You know, I'm a proud father of 3. I've got 2 boys. I have a daughter. And of course, I'm continuously talking to, you know, members of the community, small businesses and so forth, trying to understand what some of the challenges are. And it really pains me to know that, hey, when I immigrated at a young age, most of us did, you know, whether even if as recently as 10, 15, 20 years ago, even if a husband and wife worked, you know, sort of an average job, made an average earning, they could afford, you know, afford to save for a few years, put a down payment, own a house, raise a family in a safe community. None of those things exist anymore, right? 60% of young people believe that they will never own a home in this country anymore. New immigrants that are coming are obviously struggling.
Right.
You know, the Canadian dream is really out of reach, if you want to call it. Even if you look at crime, there
Very high crime
is
rates
a
are high.
very, very high.
Right.
I mean, just this past week, we had 2 young men that lost their lives literally in Brampton, you know, shot at a close range. This is extremely unnecessary. There are families, there are businesses that are now having to hire security guards like back home,
Wow.
you know, parked in front of their house. These things never used to take place in Canada. And unfortunately, it's become a reality now. And even when it comes to car theft, we all know either we had our car stolen or
Yep.
we got a family member or a friend. Everyone knows
Very
somebody.
very common issue in this region.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So everyone either has been a victim themselves or they know somebody who's been a victim. So these are serious, serious challenges, and these are due to mainly the changes that the Liberal government has brought forward over the last 10 years. I'm going to give you a bit of a comparison. So when we were in power under Stephen Harper government, we brought in minimum mandatory sentences for individuals that are repeat offenders, that commit serious crimes, you know, were basically subject to minimum mandatory sentences. So when the Liberals came in, they took away the minimum mandatory sentences.
Right.
They basically changed the bail laws. So now it's basically a catch and release, right? The moment someone gets arrested, either they're let out the same day or the next day they're back committing the crime. So I'm giving you an example. In Vancouver alone, they did a study and they looked at it 1 year. There were 40 individuals or criminals, if you want to call it. They were arrested 6,000 times in 1 year. Same 40 people.
Wow.
6,000 arrests, same 40 people. So on average, 150 arrests per year per person. So this is not really rocket science to understand. The majority of the crimes are being committed by repeat offenders. There needs to be serious consequences, laws in place to hold those that are committing crimes responsible for their actions.
Should be accountable.
There needs to be consequences. The reality is the consequences don't exist today. And criminals are not afraid of the law. They're not afraid of going to jail. They're not afraid of the consequences. And we will change the laws once we're in power. We will hold criminals responsible for their actions. One of the things I commonly hear from the community is, you know, how come as residents, as victims, we have no rights, but the criminals have all the rights? You know, Everything is available to them when it comes to, even if they can't afford a lawyer, the lawyer will be provided to them. It's a legal aid will be provided. So they got, privacy laws and so forth, whereas the victims feel that there's nobody there to protect them. And that's a problem.
Okay, these are very interesting and valid points. And of course, conservatives are taking these issues into parliament. If being in power, I'm pretty sure things will change. But let's talk about your constituency now. It's a constituency which is new, which is changed. Let me put it this way. Why should people vote for Parm as a human, Parm as a politician, and Conservative Party in your constituency specifically?
Well, so my constituency, basically, it's called the Milton East, Halton Hill South.
Right.
It is very diverse. We've got people from all walks of life, from all backgrounds. It's a community, for the most part, I've represented since 2018 as an MPP, as part of the provincial government. And I was elected twice in the Milton area. Now, Georgetown or Halton Hills is the area that's got added on with the boundary changes.
Sure.
I know the community. I understand the issues. I understand the challenges. And it's been an honor for me, having served for just over 6 years at the provincial level as a part of the provincial government, as you mentioned, also in cabinet. And Milton is facing same issues as the rest of the country is facing. Yeah. When it comes to affordability. The reality is people are struggling to make ends meet. They're having hard time trying to pay their bills, trying to pay their mortgage, trying to pay their car payments, trying to go to the grocery store and to buy a grocery on a weekly basis. And what I'm looking to do, given the opportunity, should I be elected, is to be part of a government that is going to help the economy grow, at the same time reduce the cost of living. So for instance, I'm going to give you an example. Our party has been fighting for years to get a carbon tax, which has been hurting families, it's been hurting businesses, it's been hurting the country. And the Liberals have, over the last 10 years, have continued to year, which was also scheduled to go up on April 1st. But thanks to our relentless efforts, now finally they've come around just before an election, said, oh, you know what? Yes, we agree. They changed the leader and now say, oh, yeah, we're going to get rid of the carbon tax. And even then, what they're trying to do is trick Canadians, saying, oh, yeah, we're going to eliminate the carbon tax on consumers. But what we're going to do is we're going to add carbon tax on industry. So let's look at it this way. Anytime a business is forced to incur an extra cost, whether it's regulations or whatever the government imposed them, the businesses are in business to make money. They're ultimately going to pass that cost down to consumer. So instead of putting a direct consumers, which they've done previously, now they're saying they're going to introduce a shadow carbon tax that's going to be on industry, which ultimately it's the Canadian citizens that will be responsible for paying. It's going to be passed on to them.
Right.
And so these are, some of the obviously the challenges that our government is seeing, that people are having a hard time making ends meet. Another policy announcement our leaders made is we're going to reduce income tax by 15%, the federal income tax. That's going to save an average family of almost $2,000 a year. We've put forward initiatives to help seniors, right? I mean, they live on a fixed income. So with the rise in inflation, with the rise in cost of living, they're the ones that are struggling really, really hard trying to make ends meet, because they're on a fixed income. They get the same amount of monthly pension that they've always received, but at the same time, groceries gone up, interest rates gone up, price of gas gone up, everything has gone up.
Right.
And so that's what I'm proposing. God willing, if I am elected, given the opportunity to be part of a government, that's going to be our main focus. Affordability and fixing crime are probably the two main topics that I hear at the doors that I'm going to work hard to make sure that we address as a government.
That's very interesting, and I think they are the need of the time, these issues, and they should be brought to the parliament. Luckily, I'm part of the constituency you're running in, and one of and specifically talking about Georgetown, because that's new part being added into your region.
Right.
I've been talking to a few people of the community. There's a new mosque here. They're trying to build a new community.
Right.
What would Mr. Parm Gill do, or federal government, if elected, can do to help projects like these, in communities like these?
Listen, so I think any place of worship is a very, very important part of any community.
Right.
You just can't have enough. And Halton Hills, or Georgetown, if you want to call it, it's also growing very rapidly. There are a lot of families that are moving into Halton Hills, Georgetown area each and every year, just like there are people moving in Milton as well. And we have sort of similar challenges in the Milton community that I know we have in the Georgetown community. I am happy to work with the not just the Muslim community, but others as well, to look at ways how we can help not only find a place, but also have a proper zoning, because that's a big area. A lot of
course it is.
Places of worship are limited because there isn't just enough space, enough zoning available for places of worship. Even when I was a minister, provincially Minister of Citizenship and Multiculturalism, I helped develop a grant program which is geared towards places of worship. When it comes to security, we've seen a lot of hate crimes rise over the years. So I was responsible for rolling out that program to help all of the places of worship. And there are, time to time, there are programs that are available from the federal government perspective to help communities build, whether it's community centers, whether it's, like places of worship, so the infrastructure that's needed at the local level. And I'm going to make sure that we get our fair share in the riding of Milton East and Halton Hill South, which of course includes Georgetown.
For sure. Thank you so much for, first of all, taking the time out and giving me answer with such great explanation. But let's have some fun before I let you go. So I'm just going to ask you a few rapid fire questions. And,
all right.
Let's see what Mr. Parm Gill can come up with. So before I go to non-political question, my first question, and that's without options, is who is favorite Canadian Prime Minister of Mr. Parm Gill?
Maybe a little biased, but I'm going to say Stephen Harper. I served under him. He was obviously a great Prime Minister, and I think in time, people will realize that more and more. They're already missing him, thanks to the Liberals' last 10 years.
Okay. Let's get to non-political part now. Let's talk about film industry. Do you like Hollywood more or Bollywood more?
I would say I have to say Bollywood more.
Okay. All right. So what about sports? Cricket or soccer?
Cricket.
Ice hockey or lacrosse?
Ice hockey.
Toronto or Vancouver?
Toronto all the way.
Toronto all the way. Thank you, Mr. Parm Gill. Before I let you go, I would really like you to talk to the viewers directly and message you want to give for the April 28th, or any other message you believe that viewers should hear from you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, first and foremost. And I just want to thank everybody. It's really been an honor. I mean, we live in a great community. And I've spent the last year really out there knocking on doors, talking to most of you, either at the door, small businesses and community organizations. And the reality is Canada is going through a difficult time at the moment. As I mentioned, Canada has become unrecognizable. I want to make sure the opportunities that existed for new immigrants that immigrated to this country, whether 10, 15, 20, even longer ago, the new immigrants have the same opportunity. Our young people, our youth, our kids have those same opportunity for them. We've got to leave this country in a better position than we inherited, and that's our responsibility. God willing, if I'm given the opportunity to represent Milton East, Halton Hill South as part of the federal government, you can count on me to work hard and deliver and do everything I can in my power to make it possible and get our fair share for our community of Milton East, Halton Hill South. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking the time out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Viewers, this was the very first episode of The Candidate, and I started with the constituency I live in, and I am very impressed by Mr. Parm Gill. Conservative have a very strong agenda and they want to take it to parliament. If you like them, it's our right and it's our responsibility to go and vote. Please make sure you go and vote on April 28th and elect the people you want to see in the parliament and represent you. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. This is Salman Arshad.
Coming soon in Dubai. We promise, we deliver. BT Properties. Stay tuned. Call now 800-50-555.